What is going on, guys? My name is Khleo Thomas.
I'm Patrick Cloud.
And I am Will Pharaoh. We are the Arcade Tokens, and this is Coin Toss.
Yes, sir. So Coin Toss is our new weekly video podcast, okay? And we are going to be discussing highlights from the Thunder Tournament Smash Bowl. We're going to be going over the winners, all of the highlights, everything that's been happening. That's going on every Sunday, so make sure you tune into that. But our show, The Coin Toss, will be airing every Wednesday at 4 p.m. EST and 1 p.m. PST. We're on YouTube, Twitch, VOD, and Spotify.
4 places that you get a chance to check us out, man. I gotta let everyone know about this Smash Bowl, guys. This is something completely different. We haven't seen something like this come out in a long time. It's an online Super Smash Brothers tournament. It's gonna bring together some of the best Smash players in the world, and it puts them up against the ropes with a completely new format. And they got rotating rule sets, so they must always be ready for the action, because maybe they can't use their mains. Maybe they can only go into duos. Maybe the fact that they're not only gonna get a chance to play on Omega level stages, they gotta use the platforms. Maybe the items are unlocked. Maybe they can't use Echo players. There's a lot of new rules, which keeps things exciting and fresh. So I'm really excited to see who will come out on top of the Ultimate Super Smash Bros. Tournament right here at the Smash Bowl.
Now, Cleo, I just gotta ask, out of the three of us, you're probably the most competitive worthy of the Super Smash Bros. You know, me, I kind of suck, but Captain Kirby keeps me steadfast. How do you feel about the format of this tournament coming as a player of Smash Bros?
I love it. I love the fact that we're getting something new. Like, honestly, when we've all played together, what happens? It's a fun exchange for me, for the ultimate part of it. But I think when you get a chance to make brand new rule sets, if y'all told me I can't use Link, there's a problem. We all know that.
I love doing stuff like that. You got to cripple the people who just use one character every day, bore city. You got to switch it up and throw some new stuff at them. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the Smash Bowl.
Yes, this is going to really test if you are a true Smash player. Not one of those I am the greatest with Mario or Dark Link over here. You really get to test yourself out. You know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about this week one real quick. Let's go over what happened. It kicked off last Sunday. We had Group A1, who was Lewis and Spargo. They both advanced. Lewis coming out of the winner's side, and Spargo came out of the loser's side. So that was pretty good.
Yes, indeed. But I know too in this tournament, like you said, there were different rules, and even in starting off with this one, there was a different format for them to come into, if I do recall. But just as well as that happening, we also had Aaron and Arfang was eliminated. Arfang was eliminated by a 3-0 by Spargo.
3-0. You didn't get one of them stocks off, huh?
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to keep throwing salt in the open wound, man. But it's like if Arfang make his return, like we gonna have to see what's up, because Spargo seems to not be playing, especially when you have 25 games total into this tournament. And now again, Khleo, you're more into how many characters do you get to use and stuff like that in these things?
They used 35 characters, and the characters were randomly rolled. And only 2 games that players actually get to even use their mains. Arfang got Palutena, and then in game 2 he got Young Link. So he had his starting set. He was ready to go. It makes sense why he actually is on top right now as far as leading into the second round of the Smash Bowl.
But unfortunately, Spargo still beat Arfang, despite Arfang getting 2 of his most commonly used characters. That is... I mean,
that's sad.
You got to go back to the drawing board on that one. You had him beat you with the random rolls.
Oh,
I mean, but that's what this tournament is about, Pat. Like, this tests your true skills. Like, imagine, like Arfang coming in here with the confidence, like, yo, I'm about to take this whole Smash Bros. And to understand, like, yo, you got to go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that keen sense to get ready for this.
But imagine training night in, night out with one character, and then you show up and they give you Jigglypuff. That's tough. That is tough.
That is very, very tough. But also too, though, Arfang is gonna have to be licking his wounds until January because we're not going to see Spargo or Lewis until stage 2, and that's going to be coming in January. So he's going to have a lot of time to sulk, have to get them insult and tweets and stuff. Those highlight reels going to be popping out. You know he's going to be in it. So, yeah.
That's all right. You build up mental fortitude. But next week, Group 2, Stage 1, which consists of, it's an order. You got Cola, you got Leon, you got Pandarian, and Lade. Next week's players will compete in Squad Strike. They're changing the rules up again. You got to stay on your toes, and that's what makes Smash Bowl so epic. So, yeah, Squad Strike gets to pop off next week. They have some crazy rules set. They got to pick 5 players before the set. Okay, you can't use any of them more than once, win or lose. No using interchangeable Echo Fighters. So just in case you were trying to say, oh, well, I like to use Ryu, but I'm going to use Ken instead. They're the same. They're the same character. You're not getting away with that. Format, you got the same rules. Characters, pick 5. It says cannot use either Peach or Daisy, Pit or Dark Pit, Samus or Dark Samus, or Simon and Richter. All the legal stages. It looks like they may have a chance to go to Pokemon Stadium. That's one of my favorite stages. Pat, Will, can you please let me know what's your favorite Smash Bros. Stage in the game?
I'm not gonna lie. I am definitely a fan of Back to Super Smash Bros. 64, the Star Fox rocket. Yeah, I'm a huge
fan.
Yes,
I love Hyrule. Obvious Hyrule. I really liked Ness's town stage where you can get hit by a car. But I've been playing a lot of Yoshi's Dreamland. I think that one is it's adorable. It's just adorable.
Khleo, what about yourself?
Like I said, I'm gonna have to go with Pokemon Stadium, but I'm still a fan of, like you said, the N64 one. Do you guys remember in the original Smash Bros. Where a Chansey would pop out of that little opening up door and a little light would be there, and if you got hit by a Porygon, yes, it was Saffron City, exactly. Yeah, a Porygon could knock you off the stage. And then you had a Voltorb or Electrode would explode. Yeah, those are definitely my favorite ones. Always the Pokemon themed levels are always my favorite in Smash Bros.
Yes,
low-key, they're always strong. I like how Thunder is just out here exposing players, making them switch it up, keeping it on their toes. They're not letting you do the whole, oh, I can't be Ryu, I'll just be Ken. I can't be Samus, I'll be Dark Samus. Nah, fam, you gonna be Yoshi today. We switching it up. We're making everybody play with their left hand, and it's a lot of fun. So I hope you guys pull up this Sunday to Smash Bowl.
There is a rumor that going into the 3rd round they will be blindfolded, guys. So heads up about that. I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but hey, if you're in this tournament and you claim to be the best Smash Bros. Player entering the Smash Bowl, you might have to prove that blindfolded. Heads up. We'll see.
Nothing like Ray Charles in the victory, man. Nothing like it.
We should put like roaches all over them or something, like a Fear Factor challenge. That'd be lit.
Wow. Let's step it up, right?
Just put a pile of worms in their lap.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a really, really special guest on the coin toss today. He was a McDonald's All-American in basketball, a Gatorade All-American in football. He went on to play at the University of Minnesota. Went on to play in the NFL with the Green Bay Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Daryl Thompson. Welcome to Coin Toss, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys having me on.
I love it. You got the elegant background, look like a vinyl cover.
Hey man, if you got Muhammad Ali getting your back, then you got it going, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Don't leave nothing at my house. You leave something at my house, it might end up hanging on the wall. A friend of mine left it at my house for like 2 years.
I love it.
I feel like it looks better on your wall, though. I don't think he would have made it look like that. It would have been like okay on his wall.
I agree. No question. And I got to meet Muhammad one time. That was one of the highlights of my life, man. Meeting Muhammad Ali, and I was out there for work in DC, and the congressman I was meeting with, he goes, "Hey, do you want to meet Muhammad Ali?" I'm like, "Who doesn't want to meet Muhammad Ali?" Like running down the hall, I was like, "Yeah, man, I want to meet Muhammad." So we went down there, and I met him, and he shook my hand, and I wanted to take a picture, and he goes, "No, we don't shake pictures out. We square up like we're boxing." So I squared up like I was boxing against Muhammad Ali. I put my dukes up. He put his
No, that's
dukes up, and then I gave him a hug and I said, "Man, you're the man. You're the greatest. It's my honor. It is an honor to
he's
meet
huge,
Muhammad Ali."
isn't he? He's like crazy tall.
Nah, not really. He's probably like 6'1", 6'2". He wasn't really that.
Really?
He's not huge. He's good size, but he's not huge. Yeah, and
Oh,
this is
okay.
probably, this is like 13 or 14 years ago. So he was doing pretty good then. He wasn't doing great, but he was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was always like 6'6" or something.
Yeah, they made him for some odd reason. Our generation, we really thought he was a mountain of a man inside of that ring, beating on everybody.
Yeah.
But Daryl, aside from you meeting Muhammad Ali and all these legends, tell us some more about yourself.
Well, I've been blessed. My parents, I was kid people. I was at a speech that Bud Grant gave like 25 years ago, and he talked about parents and athletic ability. My parents were both excellent athletes. My dad played college basketball at a historically black college, and my mom did as well at Alcorn in Mississippi. And my dad he ran track, and he played football, and he played basketball. My mom played basketball. So it was like I was blessed to have two extremely athletic parents, and out came myself and my brother and my sister. So, we were, athletic, and we grew up in a little town in Minnesota called Rochester, where the Mayo Clinic is, and played sports, and had the opportunity to play football at the University of Minnesota. It was a great opportunity. I played there. I had a nice career. Got drafted by the Green Bay Packers. Had the opportunity to play there for 5 years, and got to meet everyone from Brett Favre and Lindy Infante, who drafted me. And actually, I didn't actually mean to say Brett Favre. I meant to say Sterling Sharp, who is probably the greatest receiver that's not in the Hall of Fame. And then later met Brett Favre. Yeah, he does. His brother said it during his acceptance speech. He goes, it's odd to be the second best receiver in the house and be going in the Hall of Fame, but Sterling's career was cut short with the neck injury, and I think hopefully eventually he will go in, but currently he's not. But being able to play with Sterling and Brett and Reggie White and Bryce Pop and a lot of other great players, and unfortunately, like almost everyone who plays football, your career gets shut because you're really playing with fire, and you're dodging traffic, and eventually you get caught, so I got caught multiple times, and I took some damage, and I have, shoulders and knees and hips, and I have an artificial hip and all that type of stuff. But I mean, I'm fine. I live life, and I do the best that I can right now.
Okay.
Well, we're honored to have you here, man, after, an illustrious career, working as hard as you did. Would love to ask you, video games. That's the current, thing that everyone's into gaming. There's people your age all the way down to brand new babies who are picking up controllers. I got to ask you, are there any video games that you're into? Or is there any video games that you remember even being popular while you were playing in the league?
Well, I'll tell you what was popular when I was in the league was Mortal Kombat, man. Mortal Kombat was the game. We'd have little tournaments, and then we were just starting. I mean, I'm 52 years old, so it was just starting where we'd have Madden tournaments. And I was playing like a little bit of Madden, and I was amazed by the skill level of, and it was like my 4th or 5th year in NFL, and there was the skill level of the dudes that were coming into the league. They had been playing, they've been studying, they've been practicing, and I was afraid to put my little like $10 or $20 on top of because you when you're betting, you put your money on top of the whatever, the little game center, and I was like, okay, and I saw these dudes playing, they were like crack back cut, running routes. I was like, man, I said, that dude, I can't, I mean, I'm going to lose like, 45-0 or 45-7. I might get a courtesy touchdown at the end, but
do you remember
the games were, excuse me?
Do you remember which
Madden
this was?
Oh
Yeah.
man, it was early. This is like 1992. So it was early Madden. I mean, I don't know which one it was. I remember Nintendo was like what I played a tiny bit in college and early NFL, and then they switched over to, I think it was the Sega and the Madden, and now I don't even know. My boys play. We have like, I'm in my our basement right now. We got all kinds of stuff down here. They play, obviously they play Madden. They play that other game you guys are playing right now where you're Rangers and you go all over the place. What's that game called?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty?
Oh yeah. They play Call of Duty. And with their friends all over the country. My son plays football here in Minnesota. I have another son that plays in Indiana, and they play. And I think that's cool because they stay in touch with each other. So they play with the boy who's here, and then they know their teammates because they're like, oh yeah, man, that's my boy because we call Call of Duty together. And I come downstairs in early quarantine. I was like, dude, we gotta this is cool. I said we gotta stop. You got to stop like at midnight or something. You can't play till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, get up, kind of lounge around. So you can get done by like midnight. They did it eventually, and they got enough time. I mean, I'm not like a drill sergeant, so we got to have a little bit of a plan during this quarantine thing. But yeah, I love, and that was one of my things during quarantine. I said, you know what, I'm going to refresh and try to get involved because I had a couple neighbors that were playing Call of Duty. The guy neighbors, they had a kid that was playing. And they were playing. I was going to build a character and get all. And that was one thing I regret probably a little bit about. Although quarantine's not really over, but it's kind of over. So maybe if they re-quarantine us and they let me not literally go anywhere, I might sit down here in the basement and grind out a character and see if I can build up my skills.
I mean,
Listen, you ever need anyone to drop into the war zone with, bro? I am there with you. Let's drop in and let's go get some dubs.
I need some help. I got overwhelmed. I watched them. I was like, dude, there's stuff coming from everywhere. I was, my son takes over the screen. My other son had another room in the basement. They're playing. I was like, yeah, well, he's right behind you. I was like, what? Who are you doing? You got the controller, you got the headset, you got the TV, you got these little screens and the little windows and ammunition. I was like, oh, this is a mug, man. I don't know.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's hard to jump into though, because everybody gets so good so fast. So if you're not playing, you start off with the starter pistol, no scope, and you're going against people with golden weapons and diamond plated rifles. It's too much sometimes. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So you gotta play like how I play.
They play Grand Theft Auto too. I thought Grand Theft Auto was actually pretty funny. I had in little strip clubs and cars. I was like, that's actually a very funny game. I thought that's a funny game. I thought
that's a real life simulation from the everyday world.
That I got more out of that. I said that feels more like what I used to be like, about 15 years ago. I was a little more like, get in there.
Daryl was in your Miami strip clubs, right? You were one of that was more your speed.
His character was already in there.
Not opposed. Yeah.
All right. I have a quick question. So you said that you have a family full of athletes, and it seems even still your sons are playing football. So the amount of competitiveness within the house must have been pretty high. Did that transfer to video games at all? Are you guys, did that competitive nature show up in gaming for you guys also, or are you guys kind of chill with each other?
Absolutely. My daughter, who played volleyball at Wisconsin and actually played for a national championship there, her husband now, actually I was her boyfriend, her husband is complete. He actually still wakes up, even though they have a baby. I'm a grandfather. They have a baby. He still wakes up. Like, I know that I can play from, I think 8 to 10 or 12 on Saturdays and Sundays, because that's when he can get up. He can play with his friends. It's uninterrupted. The baby's happy. So he's doing it. My boys do it. My wife doesn't do any. She doesn't play video games. I'm like kind of the spectator that's curious. But yeah, the competitive spirit of the video games is strong, and it's actually, quite honestly, it's kind of a good outlet. I mean, I don't really do it, but I mean, it's a good outlet. It's fun. We all enjoy it, and I enjoy watching. So I mean, there's a chance I might call you up for a little tutelage. I watched some of you guys on YouTube. I was like, I mean, I need some tutoring. At least get me off the training wheels before I jump into the room.
Shoot with us, man. Drop in the war zone and shoot with us. I'm terrible too.
Right. We can all get that together.
Yeah.
Love it. What else we got for them? All right, so we went into your background a little bit. Your family, stuff with gaming. Can you talk to us a little bit about Gridiron Gaming? Like your thoughts about it, how it came. Like, what are your thoughts on Gridiron Gaming?
Well, the thing I think that's interesting and probably most important is that it's the future. It's like you guys. It's my kids. It's my son-in-law, and it's fun. So like, if I was still like good, like I used to play pickup basketball, I used to be good. You know, now if I go in the gym, I'd be like, oh, who's that old guy that's, you know, think he's going to try to, you know, make him camp over here. So, but I think, you know, it's the future. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's just, and we wanted to be part of it. You know, I'm part of the NFL Pro Football Retired Players Association. We're like, you know, why not have fun? So we've had, you know, Jack Youngblood and Mike Singletary, myself. We went to the gaming center down in Dallas. We had a blast. Got like a little lesson, and I mean, and Mike Singletary and Jack Youngblood are actually fairly significantly older than myself. So for them to like to be involved and to play, and they taught them to let the computer play. So they were like kind of on there, but they were really letting the computer play. Otherwise, they could go to bed. Zero challenge, you know, for the people playing. It's we're like, you know, what does it play? What does the computer recommend doing in this situation? Well, it recommends this because that's probably the best thing to do. So, but I mean, I just think it's fun. It's a way to stay engaged. And I challenged our board to say, you know what, let's learn and play and be involved and watch your kids or watch your grandkids play during this, you know, coronavirus while we're locked up a little bit. It's a way to engage and have some fun.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Just to add to that really quick, you know, you guys flew down to Dallas. I'm curious, did they have you guys playing Madden? And if they did, was it a current generation of Madden? And, you know, having the opportunity to team up with PFRPA for something like that, that just opens up the door to even put more legends into the game. I've seen over the last 2 or 3 years, they've made sure to highlight so many other Hall of Fame players, you know, outside of the bigger names that everyone seems to know. But like, no, so many of you know, players like yourself who now may have that opportunity to get their spotlight put on them due to now being, you know, being a fan of Madden and the newest generation.
Oh yeah, it was. I think it was the most recent version of Madden. You know, and I didn't play. It was actually they selected Mike Singletary and Jack Youngblood to play. I don't know. I would have liked to play because it would have been a good like kind of just to push me to play. You know, like I haven't played. I played a little bit with my boys, and they kind of beat me up, and then they just spit me out. But it would have been fun to play and get involved and to have, you know, kind of that opportunity. But I didn't get it. So, but it was, I'm pretty sure, the most recent version. And those guys had a blast because the kids were like, you know, I'm playing against freaking, you know, Mike Singletary, you know, eyes, you know, and I'm playing against Jack Youngblood. You know, Jack Youngblood, I mean, what better name is there for football or almost any sport than like Youngblood? You know, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's a tough guy. I think he smoked like 4 cigars while he was playing. So yeah, Jack is like, he's like a man's man. Jack, like, he smoked cigars. He probably, you know, drank like, you know, a fifth of whiskey. Like, yeah, he could drink, smoke. Jack can handle his business. He's no joke. I love hanging with Jack. Did you say he was
smoking cigars while playing? He was smoking cigars while playing football?
Do that. He can handle it. Yeah, he can handle it. The video game.
Okay, I was like,
okay. I was like, wait, in an actual game, like he's like, all right, coach, put me in. Let's do this. Let's run this play. I
was like,
yeah. Jack played in the year where they probably had a cigar at halftime. You know, in the 60s and 70s, there was a fair amount of guys that smoked cigarettes, and they would smoke cigarettes at halftime. So, which is when I got in the locker room, there was still like. I played in the early 90s, and there was still like ashtrays around. And I was kind of like, wow. What's that? He goes, oh yeah, man, they haven't done it for, you know, years and years. But there was a handful of guys that smoked probably until the early 80s was when smoking was acceptable in the locker room, like before a game, it'd be like a relaxing thing for a guy to have a cigarette, you know, which is what it is. So yeah, that was a different era.
Everyone was smoking back then. And the referees were like, while they were, everybody had a cigarette in their mouth. And back then, planes, restaurants, all that.
Yeah.
I know you had brought up Gridiron Gang, and you were also bringing up how the gaming industry is starting to become more of, as we said, an industry. And so one thing that I noticed was a lot of these video gamers are starting to jump into these tournaments that are giving like huge cash prizes. So you got like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds making like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but also kind of the same way. And just like a football player would come fresh out of college with a big contract. And so my question to you is, as someone that has been in there, what advice would you have for like these gamers that are banking these things at such a young age, and like what they could do with it to be able to sustain themselves?
You know, I think it's a challenge. It was kind of funny because I was talking to my son about it, and he saw there was a kid who won like $1 million. He goes, Dad, why didn't you put a video controller in my hand when I was like, you know, 4 years old? And I was like, I Video games are fun. I think they're entertaining, and I would say for any of those people that are having that extreme success, because there's only one or two. There's not. It's not like 300 or 400 or 500. It's a small, probably more than one or two, but it's a small number to save the money because quite honestly, someone's always coming. Someone's always coming. Someone's always better. It's not the same as pro football or pro basketball or even tennis or baseball where your shoulder or your knee or anything. Most likely your fingers and your brain are going to hang on. So you might be able to play for a while, but someone's always coming, and the game's always changing, and you have other interests. So save some money. Figure out a way to pay your taxes and save some money because money's not forever, and figure out how to get on the other side of it so that you're part of the system versus being part of the person that's just playing a game. I think you want to be a promoter, you want to be part of the system, you want to be setting up tournaments, you want to be on the other side because eventually you also lose the fire. I mean, it's like I played against Lawrence Taylor one time in my career, and he was at the tail end of his career. And he wasn't the same, but Lawrence Taylor said, you know what? I knew when I decided I didn't want to chase a play down because someone else could make the tackle. That was the end of my career. He goes, I used to feel like I was going to make every single tackle for 60 minutes. And he did for about the first 10 years of his career. Then the last, 3, 4, 5, whatever it was, he was just a normal linebacker. And I think that everyone has what I still call it the eye of the tiger. You watch Rocky, say, who's got the eye of the tiger? You got the eye of the tiger? You can chase a mofo down. If you don't got the eye of the tiger, then you're like, comes my way, I'll make a play. Doesn't come my way, I'm not gonna make. You ain't trying to be special no more. You ain't gonna be special no more. There's only one way to be special. You got to think you're special. You got to believe you're special. You got to have the eye of the tiger.
I like that.
He just gave us gems. That was a lesson, ladies and gentlemen. Take that to the bank. Oof.
That's a great mental exercise. So I mean, it's almost like it doesn't matter if you were all the way across the field and the dude with the ball, it was like impossible. He would run at him like he was going to make that tackle. It was never a case where he was, huh?
Yeah, you saw that last weekend with that the young man from the Seattle. He chased that guy. There was literally 11 other guys that had a better opportunity than him. He's in the end zone. He ran down a very fast person from 11 yards back. I'm talking. This is the NFL. You do that in college, that's a big deal. You do that in high school, it's not that big a deal. But you do that in college or pro football, you run a guy, you run down a defensive back from 11 yards behind him, that's a flipping big deal. And he did it. So, that's the type of thing. But you know what? In like 7 years or 8 years, you might be like, oh, man, I'm going to get tired. My hamstring's kind of sore. My elbow hurts. I gotta flip the switch. No, flip the switch, roll. Yeah, he's got the eye of the tiger right now. So, when you got the eye of the tiger, you're ready. You're ready. You know what you want to train? Yeah, I want to train again. I'm ready. Whatever it takes, all day, all night, anytime, I'm ready.
So for reference for everyone watching, do yourself a favor and go check out the DK Metcalf highlight that was just last week. That is the eye of the tiger. That is literally the visual definition of what Darrell is giving us an explanation for.
Yes.
And also I'm talking about the eye of the tiger. When you look at Rocky Balboa, although it's a fictional character, it's kind of a movie. They talk about it, and even Clubber Lang talks about it in the movie. He said, you know what, Rocky, you still got it. He goes, what? He goes, you got the eye of the tiger. He goes, I don't have it anymore. So he's like, you have the eye of the tiger. He said, when you have the eye of the tiger, he said, then you can go get it. He said, I'm when I lost, he said, Clubber Lang said, I lost to you whenever I lost, we couldn't get up. I lost the eye of the tiger. So when you lose the eye of the tiger, it's not the end of the world. It's just time to move on. So maybe you're part of the system that helps set it up, that runs it. That, you can still get paid. You might even make more money. But you say, I'm not willing to go out and play. I was talking to somebody the other day. Somebody, hey man, you look like you could still play. I said, I can't play. My only goal is to look like I could actually do something. I cannot do. I couldn't get through warm-ups. They'd be like, hey, you want to butt up? No, I don't want to butt up. No, I don't want. I could barely get a shoulder pad over my head right now. I get my strap. I'd be like, oh, my shoulder hurts and my hip hurts. I got artificial hip. My ankle's still sore. I'd be like, I don't know. Maybe I could jog on the field. Maybe if I could jog on the field, they could just put the pads on me. But it didn't happen. Can't do it.
That's crazy. So it all starts in the mentality. That's where everything begins. And like Will was saying, like I think it was really dope for us. I mean, it must have been even crazier for you because you were right in there in the NFL. But it's like we saw the birth of a new type of athlete. You know, very non-traditional. They're not as strong as the traditional athlete. They're not fast or anything, but it's a very mental thing. You know, you got these guys who are training hours and hours and hours every single day on gaming. Will was talking earlier about like how they would go to these camps and train their dexterity and stuff like that, you know, so that they can sit for a long time and focus on certain things, training exercises. How was it for you to see this like the literal birth of a new type of athlete, especially when you were out there, you know, every morning doing running, doing working out, and now there's this brand new athlete. We didn't even know it existed when we were kids. We would have played more video games. How was that from your POV?
Well, quite honestly, I respect it. You know, I respect anyone who's mastered their craft. You know, when I see someone that's mastered their craft, like that said, "Hey, I'm going to be the best technician. I'm going to be the best mechanic. I'm going to be the best video game player," because it's not easy. You know, because you have in the beginning, you know, like my wife and I've been watching a movie about the young lady, the chess player. It's called, I can't remember what it is. It's on Netflix. It's real popular right now, and she she was so hungry. She's reading books. She's studying. She's watching film. She's like anything that she can learn about chess, she's flipping. And I like that part to me always. I love it when somebody masters their craft. So when you master your craft, to me, I'm excited about it. I think it's awesome, and it's a fun thing to be a part of.
Wow, I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of, like you said, like that mentality. So of course, you know, like it wouldn't be coin toss if we didn't talk about a little football. You know what I'm saying? So one question I would have to ask, like speaking of that mentality, like what was it like for you? Like every time when you were in the game, like how did you get into that mentality, or like you said, that eye of the tiger before you stepped out onto the field?
You know what's interesting? Because I thought about my idol when I was growing up was Walter Payton. So I love Walter Payton. I still watch Walter Payton. I've been broadcaster for 23, 24 years for the University of Minnesota on the radio. And I talked to kids. I said, you talk about someone who mastered their craft, someone who studied the game. There was no weakness in Walter Payton's game. Absolutely no. You want him to run the ball? No one better. You want someone to catch the ball? Nobody better. You want someone to block? No one better. You want someone to throw a halfback pass? No one better. You want someone to return a punt? Nobody better. So I mean, okay. You want someone to return a kick? I'll return a kick. You want someone to kick off? I'll kick off. I mean, literally, they're like, they told Walter that we don't actually need a kickoff person. He's like, no, I can actually kick off. I kick off better than the kicker. He's like, no, we just want you to be running back and maybe return a punt. He's like, I can return punts. I can return kickoffs. You know, I can do all those things. So to me, he was one of my inspirations to the game. So I'd study film about him. It was motivating to try to be. And I'm just a regular running back. I didn't play. I'm not a Hall of Famer, but I love the game. But he was inspirational to me, and I enjoyed you know, but getting myself ready to play every single game, to be a student of the game and do my best to be the best player that I could possibly be. So it was an honor to be able to play the game, and I think the longer you're away from it, the more you realize how special it was. You know, and most people don't get to play college, and even fewer people get to play pro football. And then once you get to college and you play pro football and you play for, you know, 5 years, 6 years, people are like, what? It's like, oh yeah, you're like, man, I wasn't even that good on my high school team. I said, well, you know, I was really blessed, you know, and I had an opportunity and I was able to take advantage of it. So to get ready on those Sundays for, you know, 5 years was tremendous.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Now, before that, I do kind of want to take it back just a little bit. Now, as you said, you played in Minnesota, and now, and of course, upon doing some research, what I wanted to know was, I'm just gonna keep the story to how you would like it. Could you give us a funny story about the Minnesota Gophers? Anything that comes to mind?
I don't have a funny story about the Gophers. I mean, maybe I do, but I have a funnier one. I think that's my dad reminded me of when I was a kid. So I'm from Minnesota. We moved here when I was a baby, and moved to Minnesota, and we're playing like youth football, and you watch games on TV. It's cold out and stuff. Like, I don't want to play in the cold, and then we're playing a game, and I'm like, you know, 11 years old. And I'm like, Dad, it's too cold to play. It is too. We got outside. It was probably like 30 degrees or something. So it's not freezing, but I was cold. And I was like, Dad, it's way too cold to play. And he said, son, you got to play. Your teammates are counting on you. Everyone's going to be here. Put your little sweatshirt on under your shoulder pads and play the game. And I played the game, and I think I don't know if we won or lost. Didn't matter. But didn't think about it much. My dad always told that story to his friends. And then lo and behold, I get drafted by the Green Bay Packers, the team that plays arguably, or maybe not arguably, the coldest games of the year. I have one picture of me returning a kickoff for a touchdown where we played the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, and it was 35 degrees below zero.
Oh,
35
yeah.
below zero. Yeah. Yeah, it was unbearable.
And the team from Los Angeles had to play them? Or were they St. Louis at the time? You said, was it the Rams?
He said the LA Rams. So the LA Rams, I believe, came to Green Bay and played at Green Bay in negative 35 degree weather.
Anyone from Los Angeles is dead immediately. Dead immediately on the bench.
Right. The eye of the tiger is asleep. It is.
Sorry about that. No, this phone was dinging. I was trying to figure out how to mute, and then it just signed off. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah. You couldn't get me to play in 35 above zero. So
hey,
below. How did you do? How'd you do in that weather?
And you know what's funny? We're playing against the Los Angeles Rams. Did you remember what I said? Right?
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Rams do not. I mean, a cold day in Los Angeles is 50. So you're talking about a 70-degree swing. For those cats, they got off there like, dude, it was done when I got off the airplane. When they got off the airplane, they're like, they're like, let me get to the hotel, let me get dressed, and let me get through this game. So we play against the Raiders, or if you play against Los Angeles Rams, we beat the Raiders, we beat the Rams. We played Tampa Bay once. You know, Tampa Bay's like, and they had their little orange uniforms. You know, so like they're not into it. They're not into it. You know, you can tell whether someone wants to play or not. And they were like, no, you're warming up, you're doing your warm ups. You know, you're like, you know, they came out. Every single person had sleeves on, and that's kind of the not the secret, but it's a guy thing. But you say if you are wearing sleeves, that means you're concerned about the temperature. So most guys wear sleeves to let everyone else know. What? I didn't even notice it was cold out. It's like when you kind of bump into someone in a bar, you're trying to get hey, what did I bump into you? Are you all right? Yeah, my bad, bro. You know, we're just kind of moving on. So that's the kind of mentality that you got to have, especially if you're going into a game, and you walk out, and their entire team has like coats and sleeves and like triple socks on you. Like, and our guy would say, hey, we ain't going out there looking like no Michelin man. You can't look like the Michelin man out there during the game. He said, you need to look like a football player.
Right.
Hey man, 35 degrees below zero, so you suck up, suck it up.
The entire Packers team just had their helmets on, no pads. They were just out there negative 35 degrees.
Oh, yeah, let's go. I don't need no pads.
I would just be in
no matter what.
Sleeping.
Well,
yeah, you can try that.
I'm not athletic, as you can see. There's no world ever where I'm doing anything physical in negative 35 degrees. So if I could just try to get in that mentality into my world and the world of like gamers. Athletes have some of the strongest mental fortitudes, whether it's playing in that type of weather or just getting up every day to go work out. What is something that you learned either just training or in the NFL that kind of like helps you get to that level? Like, do you have any like mental secrets or anything that was taught to you along the way that you could tell somebody that really just like clicked for you? Because I don't know, like sometimes it just takes somebody telling you something the right way for you to think of it that way. So do you have any like mental strength tips?
Yeah, two things. Number one is actually watching yourself. The hardest thing to do is actually watch yourself. You know, I had to do a video like last week for the organization I run, and I'm like, God, I didn't really like what I did, but watching myself, talking and how I spoke and my cadence and everything else. So actually watching yourself is number one. And then here's the other piece I think that is the most important piece if you're going to be successful beyond 1 or 2 years in the NFL, and you can get by in college without it a little bit, is actually studying your opponent. How much do you know about your opponent? I want to know. When I was the most successful in NFL was when I learned how to study film from my offensive lineman friends. And offensive linemen are always the best friends of running backs and quarterbacks. I learned how to study film. First, I was kind of in there like, hey, why don't you come watch some film? I was like, well, okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm just gonna go home and probably chill out and watch TV and play video games. So I should probably stay here and study film with the linemen. And they would have pizza and they would talk. And I was like, they start talking about, hey, this is what we're going to do against this. This is what we're going to do against this. And this is this guy's personality. This is what he likes to do. When he lines up in a 4 technique, he does this. He lines up in a 5 technique, he does this. He likes to use the rip and the club, and then he's going to punch, and he's going to try to hit you on the back. So if you know what someone's going to do, or you recognize the action, I see it all the time with like LeBron James. He recognizes action. He's not just a great athlete. He's intelligent. And he recognized that he said, they're going to come here, they come here, they're going to run the high screen, they're going to try to kick it in the corner. Or he's going to drive baseline, he's going to try to throw that bounce pass down to that guy down in the corner on the slot. So, okay, if you know what they're going to do, then you can stop them almost every time. And what a football coach, a basketball coach, a baseball coach say, I want to make them play left hand. I want to make them play with their weak hand. So most people are right-handed, so they call it, that's what coaches call it. So I want to make you play with your left hand. Let me play with your weak. Let me make that person play with their weak. So I'm going to study you. What are you really, really good at? Let me take that away immediately. How good are you going to your right? How good are you if I just back up and make you take a jump? How good are you if I give you space and force you and then know where your help is, know what their tendency is, know what their rules are? Like I heard Tom Brady talk about it one time. I was watching the what's that called? NFL on HBO, something like that. But anyways, they had Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady talking about, well, I know what the principles are of the rules inside cover 2 of what he has to do. So I'm going to try to get him to break his rules. I can't, he won't, but he won't. And then he also have the mentality of people who feel like they can get away with something because they're good at something. So you got the mentality, you got the rule breaking, you got studying your opponent, and then you got the willingness to study yourself. If you don't self-study, that's number 1. And then studying your opponent is even more important. Studying yourself is a little bit hard. Studying the opponent is just as important because they're doing the same thing. Like you look at yourself, oh, I need to work on my left hand. I need to work on my pull-up jumper. I need to work on my pass blocking. I need to work on recognizing the blitz coverage. I need to know that if the linebacker blitzes, like talked about last night in the game, the linebacker blitzes, he turns his head, that usually means he's going to drop. So a lot of times linebackers turn their head like this, and then the running back goes, I'm going to go to the second person responsibility. Then he blitzes. And it worked last night in the game. The guy turned his head, and the running back goes, oh, I got Mike, I got Sam, and I got the strong safety. As soon as that guy turns his head, he hits the gap. That's a long answer. Sorry about that.
No, that was perfect. Okay, so like it seems like you got a lot of gems for not only our young athletes, but really everybody. Like, study yourself, study your opponent, make them break their own rules. And I think a really dope one that you said earlier was about your friend who was playing every single play like he was gonna be the one to make the tackle regardless. So I think that those are just a lot of really cool lessons in just mental fortitude, and I think that's what's so cool about this new age of athlete, because even though you guys are physically doing different things, there's a lot of similarities in how you're supposed to be thinking.
Right.
It's the same. Yeah, it's absolutely the same.
Yeah,
if I could ask you just one more question regarding it. How do you bounce back after a challenging game? How do you bounce back after a loss?
Mm-hmm.
In this game, especially when it comes to gamers, there can only be one winner and one loser. There can only be one person holding up that championship at the end of whether it's a round, a battle, a season. How do you bounce back from it?
Well, I think the most important thing after a loss is to you got to mourn a little bit. It's okay to mourn and to actually think about it. And then actually, why did I lose? So there's a reason. You know, like this chess movie that my wife and I have been watching, the young lady that becomes this phenomenal chess player. And there's a reason that a basketball team, a football team, why you lose, and then actually flush it. So actually, you know, mourning, I lost, we suck, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Then you say, okay, now why did we lose? Could I have done something differently? And almost all the time, you could have done something differently, especially in a game, especially in a board game. And I think board games, this is taking over for board games. Used to be checkers and chess. Now we have video games taking over. If I had done this differently, I would have won. So let me work on that. You know, so the next time this situation comes up, I'm not going to get twisted up by what this guy saw in me because he studied you. I guarantee you that guy that beat you, he studied your ass. I watch you guys on Twitch. That guy's like, he's in the background watching. Oh yeah, that's what he. Yep, I know. Yeah, he likes to throw that guy. He likes to run the ball here. He likes to, you know, this guy is a really good blocker, so he uses him. Or Call of Duty, he likes to hide behind this little gas can or whatever. I said, oh yeah, I got it. So yeah, so you know what? When I come around, I'm gonna blow up that gas can. I'm gonna lob a grenade over this thing. You know, I watched the game. I don't know how to play very good, but if I would, I'd be like, well, let me watch for 2 or 3 hours and get a little feel for what your favorite things are. Then let me come in and play. You know, if I got some skill, then I'm just like, let me study. You got to study your opponent. Then that's why I watch Fox News and I watch CNN. I got to study my opponent.
I don't think there's no better way to be able to do that and apply that to all aspects and levels of life. As you said, if you don't have that eye of the tiger sense, especially when it comes to gaming, then how can you be the best? If you don't study your opponent and you study each and every single thing about them, how can you continue to stay at that top? And so it's just a lot of things that you've said, a lot of gems that you have dropped in here today for anybody to take and apply to any aspect of their life, whether it be gaming, whether it be sports, whether it be anything personal, any kind of dreams that they want to achieve. And so, Darrell, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us here today on Coin Toss. Thank you for coming here and really just dropping this knowledge. And I know you said you wanted to get back into gaming, so I kind of got to be this guy. If everyone check out Mortal Kombat and want to see how it's upgraded, you might want to talk to Mr. Khleo Thomas over here. He's definitely there.
Yes, sir. Oh, let's get it. Let's get it.
After my wife, you say, "What does that guy do?" I said, "I know. That's what we do. That's what when you wait, you gotta get."
That's the sway.
That's the sway that they had.
If you wait to die, you do this.
Yeah,
I'll have to bring it back.
Anytime you name the place and time, I'm there. I would love to go one-on-one in MK with you, Darrell, at any moment.
All right, brother. Thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast.
Yes,
thank you so much.
All right.
All right. You take care.
Yeah, you guys too. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, how do you guys feel about that, man? A lot of gems were dropped from Daryl Thomas, man. How are y'all feeling? Khleo, how about yourself?
Man, to get into the mind of a man like that who played in the league, who understands the mentality of what it's like to make sure to bring your A game every single opportunity that you get. The fact that he studied the greats even before he got into the league. All of those are just great topics I think that we all needed to hear from that position, man.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Pat, how about yourself?
I really enjoyed that just because, I really like talking to people about professions that I've never really considered or been a part of, so something as extreme as an NFL player, football player, I mean, that is the big leagues. That is like a very epic job. So it's really cool to not only get, into the mind of somebody who's experienced that, but to see all of the similarities between us, and just people who don't live that lifestyle, but can still take away from stuff like that. Because I mean, the motivation and the discipline you have to make it to the NFL is intense. So anybody can learn from that. Anybody. So I wrote some stuff down.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. And I think one of the biggest things that I took away was very refreshing, especially coming from an NFL player, and not only that, a retired NFL player, was that especially what he was talking about with having that keen sense and continuing to study your player, but also one thing for him, keeping your mind sharp. And one thing that I really took away from Darrell was that he's still remaining a student to this game, because even for him to be open open to see, like, you know, what it is about gaming that people love so much. And then even, like he said, having such a respect for those that take their craft seriously and want to master their craft. So it's just really refreshing to see someone continue, like himself, continuing to learn, continuing to find new ways of things, and wanting to try new stuff. So I'm definitely hoping to see him in this matchup between him and Khleo. This has got to
happen. It will happen. It's out there in the universe. It's gonna happen.
Brutal. Don't do that to him.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Coin Toss. We want to thank y'all for joining. We want to thank our guest, Daryl Thompson, for coming in. Make sure you check out the Smash Bowl coming at you every Sunday. And then make sure you check out this podcast, Coin Toss, releasing every Wednesday at 4 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's going to be on YouTube, Twitch, video on demand, and Spotify. And of course, it's going to feature us, of course. And of course, this podcast. Yeah, exactly. And of course, this podcast is brought to you by Gridiron Gaming, powered by the PFRPA and produced by Thunder Studios. And of course, we are the Arcade Tokens. I am the Anomaly Will Pharaoh.
Khleo Thomas, aka Mr. Slick Living.
I'm Patrick Cloud.
And this has been Coin Toss, and we will catch you next time.